Welcome to the BlackBald Podcast, where we dive deep into the conversations that matter most. Hosted by the dynamic duo, myself, Muhammad Marah, and my brother
No,
from another mother.
Carly, and Nacho.
Yes, sir. We have a passion for uncovering truth, sharing insights, and our podcast covers a wide range of topics designed to enlighten, entertain, and ultimately empower our listeners. So tune in, like, follow, share, subscribe, and let's
For
get to the
sure.
show.
For sure. And then just so you guys know too, like some of the topics we're gonna be talking about, obviously mental health, relationships, sports, health, wealth, current events, life issues. All right. So like Mo said, make sure you guys tune in. So jumping in, Mo, let's get right into it. I want to talk about mental health, right? This is a big thing. And then obviously I've been seeing online this TikTok therapy, right? TikTok therapy and just how it affects mental health.
So TikTok therapy. So first of all, what even is that?
Cool. You already know I'm a big chat GPT person. You are too as well. So let's look it up real quick.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
do that.
Cool. So got you. So TikTok therapy refers to the growing trend of therapists, mental health advocates, and individuals sharing mental health content on TikTok. Right. TikTok, Instagram, we know, Snapchat, Facebook. It's a digital phenomenon where bite-sized videos are used to discuss mental health topics, provide tips, and raise awareness about mental well-being. While it can be a powerful tool for education and reduce stigma, it has its limitations and also its drawbacks. So my question to you is, what's your thoughts on it? Right? What's your thoughts on TikTok therapy?
Okay, I like it. I actually like it. I like that. I mean, I don't know it. I don't really be on TikTok like that for real, but the concept of TikTok therapy, I mean, social media can be used for all kinds of terrible things, right? So at least, TikTok therapy, you're giving therapy to the world and attacking mental health issues and whatnot. I like it. I like that positivity being put out into that atmosphere right there.
Now, right? Playing double, once again, we're going to look at the both sides too as well. People that talk about it and are given therapy that don't have an experience, right?
Okay.
Like I agree, but I also disagree. And the main reason is there are people out there that will self-treat and give advice. And I think it is a powerful thing if once again you have the certifications, the accreditation, right? You're a doctor, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But if you are someone that, for example, is anti the medical and you're going to go more of a holistic route and say, you know what, if you put beans in a bag and if you boil the beans and you put it on your neck, then all of a sudden you don't have neck pain, right? That is a problem. And so, although social media is a very powerful thing, I do suggest, and I do it too as well. Like I try to do my research, do my due diligence more so than everything else, right? It is a powerful thing and it does allow us to reach. But if it's not something that is beneficial, right, it can do more harm than good in my opinion. But I'm with you. Like I said, like I follow, I have clients, I follow people that are, therapists, right, that give advice on
Mhm.
how to deal with stressors. But when you start, going into the remedies of do this, do this, use this, garlic powder, whatever the case is, then that's where it gets a little bit more extreme. And, they're not liable technically because technically we,
Sure,
we, we just watched the video, right? More
for
so than
sure,
everything else.
for sure, for sure. No, I agree with you. That was my standpoint from it. I'm thinking professionals, but
Mm.
yeah, if you're talking about like 12-year-old little girl talking about do this or whatever on TikTok, like yeah, come on. But that makes a lot of sense. I agree. I agree.
Yeah. And then, I mean, with that too, like we talk about this all the time, right? Just the algorithm of social media, right? And just the power of social media on mental health and stuff like that too, as well. You just told me recently that if there's things that are coming to my explore page, I can unfollow them, I can block them, right? And things like that. And it
Mhm.
takes time, it takes effort, right? And it's not something that's advertised on social media. But what would you say the impact of just like the algorithm itself now is on just everyone's mental health, how we feel, what we see on our phones more so than anything else?
I mean, I listened to a really interesting podcast recently that talked about the algorithm and essentially all these algorithms, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, even YouTube, you know, obviously they can be used for good, but the main purpose behind, these companies creating these algorithms is to keep you scrolling, keep you engaged, keep you, effectively wasting time and stuck on this app versus being productive. And so, yeah, I mean, it really just depends on how aware the user is, and if you're in control, if you're setting limitations, if you're, you know, actually getting shit done in life versus you're just sucked into the algorithm
Algorithm. Yep.
machine, and you're just, in the matrix,
Yeah, yeah.
really,
And we talk about this all the time, right? Like I use social media for business, but also too, like you get caught up in like business turns into like, okay, cool. Like, let me see how this family member is doing. Let me see how this friend is doing. Oh, you know what? This movie's out. I just saw an ad that Lion King is out. Whatever the movie out, right? Is
Yeah.
Gladiator just came out. And so now all of a sudden you go through this spiral of things. But you've done a really good job in minimizing your social media, right? So like what are tips and tricks that like you've used more so than everything else? And then for social media, but do you also feel like people should just cut off social media fully?
I think it depends. It depends on your level of addiction, really. And I really believe, I mean,
Oh,
in
bro,
this modern
you said
addiction,
addiction.
absolutely, absolutely. I feel in
You
this,
said
especially this,
addiction, bro. Like unpack that. Like why do you feel like social media is an addiction?
because here's a primary example. If you go into your screen time and you're shocked by the number that it says on your Instagram or whatever, you're addicted. That's what that means. Point blank, period. Because you don't even know how much time you're spending. Whoop, 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 whoop. You know what I mean? You're just scrolling. And it's an addiction. You're getting the dopamine. You're getting they. Let me put this post and let me see how many likes. And every time you get a like, your phone's getting hit. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So I mean, like years ago, I kind of like I wanted to get out of that, just get out of it completely, just snap back to reality. And so a few things I've done: one, I put my phone on do not disturb, just because if not, you're getting inundated with just notification after notification after notification, and it really becomes like you're not in control of your life. You're just responding to notification. Let me look at my phone, versus like, what would you be doing if you
If you didn't
weren't
have social media.
looking at, if your phone wasn't notifying you about some bull jive? You know what I mean? What would you actually be doing? You'd be doing something productive, hopefully, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? But we're stuck in this loop of, let me look, ding, ding, ding. You know what I mean? And so that was one thing that I've done, is my phone's on do not disturb all the time. It's not that I'm, I hate the world, I'm antisocial. It's just like I don't want to be distracted. Like that is the thing that's going on the most, I feel, in society today. Just like distraction. And then you wonder why, people are upset about where they are in life, and financially, whatever the case may be. It's like imagine, like, just think about all that time you're wasting on social media, on this, on that, notification, boom, boom, boom. You're getting dopamine hits every time the like goes on your phone, or vice versa. You don't get any likes, you post something and like, damn, I only got this many likes. Now you're going into depression. You know what I mean? It's wild. And so that's
And
one thing.
I got a question for you too. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm kind of staying on the word addiction that you use for social media,
Yeah.
right? What defines being addicted to social media?
Like I said before, I think being addicted to social media is like, you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is, I need to look at this. I need to check this. I need to see whatever is going on. If it's the first, like, if you wake up in the morning, that's your first thought. That's a sign of addiction to me. If you, like I said before, if you go to your screen time and you're shocked by the number of hours that you're spending on whatever app it is, that's a form of addiction, in my opinion. If you don't even know how much time you've been spending on it, and you're just like, damn, that's crazy. That's
Addiction.
that's addiction. If you just you find yourself just aimlessly scrolling sometimes, or whatever the case may be, like you might have gone on there for a specific reason, and then boom, an hour goes by, how much time goes by, and you're like, why am I still, like, why am I still doing this? Addiction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I think, like, that's what I mean when I say addiction.
No,
And then
and And it makes sense, and I think that's something that we don't necessarily talk about, right? I think we all have phones and everyone is innovated with iPhones and Androids and all sorts of stuff, and you don't realize that the bigger player at hand it's the phone. Even more than social media, it's the phone, right? I
Hmm.
and I It's something I deal with to this day, right? I wake up. What is my alarm? My phone.
Hmm.
Where am I writing my notes? My phone. Where am I checking emails? My phone, right? Where do we do FaceTimes, right? My phone. And so I think it kind of goes to kind of what you were saying is like, yes, do not disturb, but also to having more time where we can actually be away from the phones, right? Or having times where you can
Hmm.
actually leave the phone in the office and actually go spend time with family, right? Go on a
Hmm.
walk, right? Do something outdoors. If you have a backyard, go garden, right? And I think that goes to the bigger picture of like the mental health thing. Like it's social media, yes, but it's also like it's our devices. You know what I mean? It's our
Yeah.
big picture is our devices,
No, for sure, for sure.
which is crazy to think about it. Things that, a couple years ago was just for making calls and text messaging, really just making calls. Because right, we were in the era of the flip phones, right? Just making calls and maybe playing Snake if you actually had a Nokia back in
Yeah,
the day,
right.
right? But like we've evolved and technology has really advanced itself so much that like our phones are the addiction, right? More so than social media, more so than everything else is like what was originally created for phone calls and then text messages and then games is now for social media, and then we all have our algorithm, which is scary to know that we all have different
Hmm.
algorithms, right?
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And yeah, it's crazy.
Hold on though. Let me. I wanted to touch on the second thing. So the first thing I did was put my phone on do not disturb.
Mhm.
Secondly, I went on a hiatus from social media. It wasn't it. It was intentional at first. Like I was like, okay, 1 month, and I just deleted Instagram, Facebook, blah blah blah, right? And then after that month, which is crazy, after that month, when I reinstalled the app, my desire was gone. Kind of like that month reset. And I think they call it a dopamine reset. Matter of fact, actually, then there's an actual psychological term for that dopamine reset. And after a month, because essentially what it becomes is a drug.
Mhm.
It becomes a drug, and then your dopamine is just all over the place. So you do this dopamine reset, 30 days off of social media. You say a social media fast, if you will. And when I did that, I did the 30 days, and then after that, got back on, and because I can honestly say I was addicted. I'm not
Mhm.
just talking from like judging people. Da, da, da. No, I was one of the addicted people. We got it in college, and it was our era. That's what we did, right? I used to post every day. Every day I was posting and
Every day.
scrolling and doing all that. But I just was like, hold on, let me step back. Like, what's really going on? And once I did that, it kind of changed.
And since minimizing social, you feel like you have more time for everything else.
More time. It's Well, definitely. Obviously, you have more time because you're not utilizing that. Like you are on your screen time, and it's X amount of hours. Like, I mean, it's crazy. Like the time you really look at it, the time you're wasting. That time could be put into what being productive, whatever it is, your little side hustle, your business, your this, your that. Learning a skill, whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, from that standpoint, definitely saving time or freeing up time. And then I think mentally, there's a aspect of withdrawing from the social media, whether it's the reset of the dopamine. There's something mentally where I don't know, it feels better I feel better than I
Mhm.
did when I was constantly scrolling and I was addicted to that notifications and all that jive.
Yeah, and mind you, like I told you, like I use my social media more now for business purposes than anything else because the social media marketing and all that. But I agree with you, like the that feeling of being overwhelmed and anxious is real, and it's all through
Mm-hmm.
notifications. Not even a real
Mm-hmm.
beam or anything like that. It's through notifications. Or you're at the movies and you just feel your phone vibrating the whole time. And it's like, dude, like just it's not okay. It's not okay. Now you got your woman looking at you like, who the hell is texting you this much? It's like, nah, it's notifications. I posted the picture of us as a family on there and I'm getting all these messages. It's your fault. Oh. Yeah, bro. So all right, man, let's move into
The
the
phone,
next.
the phone is your wife now. Where you at? Do notification. Why you ain't looking at me?
Oh,
Why you ain't clicking these
oh,
notifications, Carl? Where you at?
we gonna have that discussion too as well, man. At some point, we're gonna talk about that because that's a whole nother beast. Just phones and times and spouses and stuff like that. I want to move into the next one just because like the holidays, the big holidays just passed, right? We just went through Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, right? Everything like that. So the family dynamics, right? Like the family dynamics during the holidays. We've both relocated, from where we spent years from, right? So talk to me about just kind of like how do you navigate family dynamics, right? Just the holidays, right? The conflict, right, of, relatives, different opinions and traditions and stuff like that. Like how have you handled that more so than anything else? And what's your thoughts on it? Like obviously, right, different cultures, different upbringings. What's your thoughts on it?
It's very interesting. It's a very interesting question. To be honest, we haven't had. Well, I personally haven't had any issues
Mm,
with the family. Like we love so backstory just to make it so we moved to Texas from California and we had no family for years here, and so having family come during the holiday times is actually been great. It's been
nice.
it's been phenomenal. The holidays have always been pretty amazing. They come, family comes mainly. Cece's family comes and do the whole nine. The whether it's Thanksgiving, big old feast, and obviously she's Hispanic, so we're doing like Hispanic food, tamales, and all that stuff. And it's great.
So y'all eating well,
We
I
eating
see.
good, being married, and then my Mac, my son, obviously he loves it. He loves having the family over. It's really never is. Knock on wood, it's never been no issues yet
Mm.
that I think. I mean, yeah, not, I haven't experienced any issues yet. So
Well, I'm gonna talk about the other side then. I'm gonna talk about the other side, right? Now, obviously, too, right? Once you're married, yes, it is amongst you two, right? And the truth is, holidays for us has turned into like more so, yeah, we can laugh and there's stories here and this and that, but ultimately at the end of the day too as well, it's inevitable with two different upbringings and stuff like that. There's always gonna be a clash of cultures or something, right? For me, right? My, backstory, my parents, divorced early on. We didn't have holidays like that amongst ourselves. And so mine is mainly, I would say the first years of us being married was really like, we don't decorate for Halloween. We don't decorate for Easter. We don't decorate. What is this, right? There's only two holidays in the year. It's Christmas and Thanksgiving. That's it. And I had to get used to that. Like, Nick's family member, they decorated for everything, right? For everything. And I have appreciation for it now because I do see the way that Noah lights up when he sees decorations or, being a boy tries to destroy the decorations. But like early on, it was like I didn't have the appreciation for it or the time for it or want to slow down. And so that did cause issues, right? Even like her family, right? Everyone's decorating, and like, we would be the house that didn't decorate. And so now, I would say this past year, the family dynamic during the holidays was actually good because I actually leaned into that. And as a man, it's okay to lean into it. It's okay to lean into the decorations and the celebrations and let your woman lead the way and help her however you want to help her in regards to like
Mhm.
just getting in the spirit of it. So for this, I mean, like I said, this time, for was the first holiday I can just say that like, I was in the spirit, and she went in for Halloween, which is, her birth year anyway. And as soon as Thanksgiving or whatever, we're not setting them things, no, we're going straight to Christmas. Once Halloween is over, we're going straight to
Oh yeah,
Christmas, straight to Christmas.
we do the
And
same
so
thing, bro. Same thing. Yep.
yeah. But yeah, like, I mean that is a topic that I know a lot of families deal with. And I think just talking kind of from for myself, right? I feel like as men, we're not necessarily brought up to like have appreciation for that. Like, yes, we get presents and we know that family's around, but like actually decorating and putting strings and mistletoes and trees and yeah, like we're not privy to that. And so
Also, full transparency, we're African, and you want to talk about culturally, like African, we ain't doing all that. Like, just that's really what it is. I think if you're American, I'm sure it's different, but for us, I'm sure you,
yeah, yeah. The most celebrations you get for Halloween is trick or treat. Thanksgiving is church, Christmas is church. Like that's, but yeah, you're 100% right.
Exactly. Your parents probably didn't even buy candy to give out, even like you was that house,
Yeah.
like, like so.
Yeah, but I mean, once again, I once again with where it was 10 years ago, even 5 years ago to like now, it's different. You know what I mean? And I think now you see a lot of men, leaning into it, right? Not being afraid to be a part of the festivities and the holidays and stuff like that. And also too, like, and once again, it's something I struggled with too, is the opinions of family, right? Relatives. Like everyone is opinionated. Everyone wants you to do what they feel is best for you or for their kids or grandkids. And as you get older, you realize that it's okay to listen, but ultimately you have the decision and the final say, right? And I think we all owe that level of respect, for our elders, in my opinion. But you don't have to do it. You can listen to it, but you definitely don't have to do it.
So what they giving you family advice at Christmas? What's going like?
I mean, sometimes, like, oh, prime example, right? And hasn't happened recently, right? This hasn't happened recently, but back in the day, it's like, when Noah was first born out of the womb, with fresh out, right, slime and all, right.
Yeah.
He needs to go to Nigeria. I'm like, he will, he will eventually, right? Like he even if we go now, he's not going to remember it, right? And just certain different traditions and customs and stuff like that. But now, like I said, it was early on, right? Early on in our marriage and relationships and stuff like that. I think now that we've gotten older, we've understood how to, especially this holiday, this the past 2024 was really, really good because, we're on the same page with holidays. It's like, you want to decorate? Let's decorate. You know what I mean? And I was more excited to decorate, for a thing or for Christmas this year, So I'm just like, can we do Christmas lights outside? And it was like, Nick was like, I don't want you on the roofs and stuff like that. Like, so we just decorated inside, had a little bit outside. But this is probably the most festive as a household we've been, especially since this move.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I think
yeah,
I think for me and my my African childhood upbringing, for me what it did was I actually I embrace it. I think I embrace it more like like yeah, let's let's decorate. Let's do like I actually because I feel like we were deprived of that as children
absolutely.
or whatever, you know what I mean?
Gotta
So it's
make up the
like
difference.
yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Especially for, we both have young men, and my thing is I really make a conscious effort to not be my parents.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'm like very conscious. Like
But it's also tough too because I promise you there are some things where you're just like your parents.
fact. That's what I'm saying. It's a conscious effort. Yeah, you're right. You gotta be. It's intentional. You really gotta wait. Is like you really gotta think about it. Like, how do I want to raise my child? Like, I want to take the good things among, our parents did their best and they did great. There's, African values and all that good stuff. But it's like there's certain things, there's the positives, the pros, the cons you take from them, and the values that they instilled in us and whatnot. You want to instill those in our children. But then there's the other parts that's like, okay, we could do without this, without
Mhm.
the child abuse that we got.
Whenever where the time when anything was okay, belt
Mhm.
switch, whatever was in hands and reach was live for
Whatever,
play.
whatever we got beat with. So, just certain things. And then, being real, like, and I don't know if this is true for all Africans or maybe it's just me, but like I never felt that connection with my parents because in African it's such a hierarchy, right? Like I'm the adult, I'm the parent, you are a child.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, so we and don't speak to me, don't talk back like that. So you never feel like comfortable to like come talk to your parents about certain issues, certain things that you should be able to talk to your parents so they can parent you, and you're not out here, just figure it out. You know what I mean? And so I guess those are the types of things I'm trying to like be better about
Yeah.
as we parent. And like I don't want to build that dynamic where
But
my child
it's hard.
doesn't want to talk to me. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like,
Boys are tough, man. It's hard to raise boys, and I commend my mom raising three. You know what I mean, and my dad too. But like once again, my dad did exactly what he was tough, and like you have appreciation for it now that we're older. But the kid phase of it, bro, like I can only imagine. You know what I mean? The non-listening, the running around, the stubbornness, the constant repeating yourself, and all that too. And so it's a balance. Now, one thing that I do remember that, in my opinion, that is not normal, it wasn't normal growing up, was it was with our parents, especially as the men, right? The dads, right? Even the moms, it was very disciplined, and that was it, right? Discipline, and that was it. Whereas now I feel like the difference for us is like discipline, here's why. Let's hug it
mhm,
out.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And that's the
yeah,
part to me that makes it to where it's like, okay, it's okay to be disciplinarian, right, in the household, but also understand that like just because I discipline you or say no to something doesn't mean that you can't still get in my space and get a hug, right? It doesn't mean that
exactly.
I can't slow things down or as a parent. And I think that's one of those things that's very lost, or it was lost, right? Back in the day, it was just really like when I got disciplined, it was like, I ain't messing with you. I can't stand you. I'm leaving. I'm never coming back home again. I can't stand you. Right. Whereas now, like you said, trying to be different from our parents is like, okay, like you're not listening. I'm gonna discipline, or I'm going to say, hey, put that down. Right. And then, hey, come here. Like, let me slow things down now and explain why that's not okay. Hey, if you
Mhm.
keep messing with that, you can hurt yourself. Right. If you keep messing with that, hey, daddy loves you, right? Give me a hug and then go about your business, but yeah, that's I think that's parenting now, but crazy enough, like I feel like a lot of people, this is another topic too we can talk about, soft parenting and more disciplined parenting, right? Do you believe that as a parent, as a dad raising boys, you can just be like, hey, Mac, let's just not do that. Hey, Mac, put it down. Hey, Mac. Or do you have to have the real African side needs to kick in from time
Yeah.
to time?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with everything you just said too. It's that's exactly it. It's like discipline, but also let me communicate to this
Yeah.
child so he actually feels like, oh, I can communicate with my parent.
Mm.
It's not just I get beat
Yeah. Yeah.
and then it's silence and I'm just crying. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, there's a teaching going on here.
Mm.
There's a communication and there's a love of I'm not just disciplining you. I'm gonna love you up as well afterwards. So there's the discipline, there's the teaching, and there's love as well. So that you're
Absolutely.
exactly right, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Kind of, yes, we take the discipline from our parents that are African authoritarian parents and whatnot, but also let's infuse our this new age. Okay, of let's actually communicate
Mm.
and actually show this child that we love them, because I feel like you as an African child, like, and we're talking about we're first generation, like, you like, do my parents love me? Like, is it
This ain't
the way
okay.
I'm getting beat, like, is this
Yeah.
love? Like,
This ain't okay.
right? So like I feel like now we're in a place where, okay, yeah, we're gonna discipline you, but also we're gonna communicate and we're gonna show you that you are loved and you're
Yeah.
not just a child to be beaten, as.
And to say, go bring me the remote.
Go give me
Bring
that remote.
bring me the remote.
Bring me some water.
Yeah. All right. So I know we're running on a little bit, bro. Let's pick. I want to talk about here. These are topics we're going to talk about before we wrap it up today. Sports, right? Or you want to talk about the Ozempic,
Man, let's
health.
talk about this Ozempic, man. Let's talk about that Ozempic.
What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts?
Man, it's like people will never learn, man. It's just take your ass to the gym and stop eating bullshit. Just Just stop with this. You need a shortcut. You need a magic pill to woo woo woo. And now it's already, we like these are the same people like you were scared to take the vaccine, right? Or the COVID vaccine or
Oh,
something, but you're gonna take this Ozempic. What do you know about what you know about that? What you just putting stuff in your body. Like you know, I don't you can't just trust, 'cause that's how everything, you see it all the time, right? 50 years later, oh, if you are a family member who took Ozempic, call 888 blah 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 for the wrongful death of you. All of a sudden there's lawsuits and all this crap coming up. Like, nah, man. And just like with every drug, there's side effects. They always, you see these commercials, la da da, they're running through the woods, and then side effects include anal bleeding and death. Da, 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 la da da, yeah, take Ozempic. Like, to me, man, like just natural diet, exercise, period. Like stop the bullshit, Ozempics and all this. And then it's already coming out saying that a lot of the weight that people lose is
we're
actually,
gaining back.
yeah,
Or
they
back.
gain it back, but also the weight they're losing is muscle, not necessarily just all fat. So and then of course, if you're the type that's going to take Ozempic, you're not going to the gym, you're not
Yeah.
working out, da, da, da. And then as soon as you're off of it, what you didn't change you didn't change what needs to change to actually make change,
Yeah.
which is in here. You need to actually become a different person, because as soon as you get off that pill and you're the same person, you're eating the same stuff, you're not going to the gym, you're sedentary, you're just going to go right back to the same thing. And then,
Yeah.
but go ahead. What's your thoughts, bro?
No, I mean, I agree with you. I'm the same exact way. Like nothing beats, time, consistency. We just talked about earlier about addictions, right? It's the same thing, right? Like at the end of the day, food, processed foods can be addiction. Bad habits can be addiction. Not working out or walking can be addiction, right? Drinking alcohol, sugars can be an addiction. And so if you're still doing that same exact thing, you're kind of defeating the purpose too. And not only that, like it's made for diabetics, right? Ozempic, right? And let's look up the definition real quick. Come on, Chat GPT, give me some information, right? But once again, it's a prescription medication primarily used for type 2 diabetics, right? Active ingredient called semaglutide, which belongs to a drug called GLP-1 receptor, right? It works at mimicking a hormone in the body that regulates blood sugar levels, right? It's mimicking. It's not actually doing it. It's mimicking a hormone, right? And so what people are using it for is blood sugar regulations and appetite suppressions, right? So if you're still eating the same amount, if you're still have the same exact habits, you're going to gain weight immediately afterwards. Some common side effects: nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, decreased appetite, also pancreatitis, gallbladder issues, kidney issues, thyroid tumors, right? And so, yeah. And so I'm the same way. And then also let's talk about the price. It is $900 to $1,000 a month if you don't have an insurance. If you have insurance, it's anywhere between $400 to $600 a month, which is crazy because that's more expensive than the gym membership.
Exactly right.
Right? Like it's more expensive than a trainer, and it's medication, right? And so I'm the same way, right? Like I think nothing when you talk about beating habits, when you talk about fixing habits and having long permanent weight loss and building muscle and dropping body fat, just be consistent. Shit, walk more, eat less, lift a little bit weights for 30 minutes, right? Meditate, right? Do yoga, do things that are going to pour back into everything else. And just because you're taking Ozempic doesn't mean you're going to have more flexibility, doesn't mean you're going to have less back pain, less knee pain, bone on bone,
Great.
right? Like, and, and once again, this is a judgment-free zone. We're never going to be like, oh, you shouldn't. But I just feel like you can spend that $900, $1,000 a month you're spending on investments, right? On stocks, right? On you know what? Go get a massage, and it's still gonna cost you less money, right? And pour more into your mental health than just doing the prescription drugs, right? So I'm the same exact way. I agree. I think consistency and fixing habits is more of a long-term solution. And if you have it that amount of money to where you're willing to pay $12,000 a month or a year on drugs that won't really fix the root of it, like you said, mindset, moving, not eating junk, understanding processed foods and stuff like that, then okay. But I know for me, You give me $12,000, I'm gonna invest that. I'm gonna go buy some more properties. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
invest in
Yeah.
stocks, right?
Facts.
Something of that nature. You can start a business with $12,000, right? Well, less than that.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of ways that you can use that money instead of using it on prescription drugs. That's
And
just my
here,
thoughts.
I agree with you, bro. And here's something I just thought of right now. I feel like there's like we're talking about mental health and whatnot. There's a psychological aspect to that, and I guess you can go both ways. Like, right, you might feel better self-esteem wise and whatnot if you've lost this weight and and so on and so forth. But at the same time, I think subconsciously, you didn't really earn this. You didn't really do, you know what I'm saying, bro? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
I
so
can see
God,
it.
you didn't earn, like, there's a difference between, as we know, as former athletes at the highest level, there's a self-esteem, there's a confidence that comes along with the putting in work and achieving by actually putting in work versus, oh, I took this pill or whatever, or steroids or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So
And it's permanent. I think, when you said it like, playing sports, right, being collegiate athletes, playing at the highest level professionally too as well. Like there are habits and traits and skills that we have now because we've done it and spent hours, thousands of hours. It's permanent, right? Like it's a skill set, right? And so 100%, I agree with you too. Like subconsciously, it's like, okay, like, well, you know what, I gained weight again. Let me go spend $1,000 more. No,
yeah,
no.
exactly.
Even if you're not spending $1,000, 300, 400, 500, it's still money that you can be spending, making memories and experiences with family, right? Or making money and experiences on, just pouring back into yourself when it comes to like self-care. So I agree. 100% agree. So yeah, man. Anything else, man? You want to close us out?
Man, thank you guys for liking and subscribing and listening. Appreciate you. We love you. Black ball, baby.
BlackBald. All right. See you on the next episode. All right.